Hi everyone. I just thought I would introduce myself. Of course, some of you know me, but perhaps some of you would like to know the answer to the question of who am I? Of course, on an existential level, that's what our yoga practice is about. But on a mundane level, I thought I would tell you a little bit about myself, not because it's important, but it's important who I'm not. So I want you to know, obviously my name's Stephen. I grew up in a very normal working class family with two brothers and a sister. We lived in a little fishing and tourist town, and nothing particularly special about growing up. I surfed and played music, played a little bit of soccer, skateboarded a little bit, and I've also taken to mountain biking in later years. I went to a normal government school for both primary school and high school. And when I left school, I went and did normal jobs. I've worked in a factory, or actually a couple of different factories. I've worked in restaurants and hotels and cafes. I've worked in sales at a retail and a wholesale level. And now I'm married. I live in suburbia in a small house with my wife and two dogs. And I'm a very normal person. And I want you to know that about me, because sometimes in the yoga world we see people who are yoga practitioners as being outside of perhaps our normal way of living. So maybe they're people who live overseas on an island teaching in a resort or something like that, or maybe they're people who've come from wealthy families and have the means to just not do much apart from do yoga. Or perhaps we think they've had a special upbringing. Maybe we think they've had exposure to certain religious or philosophical or spiritual ideas as they've grown up. But I wanted to let you know that actually none of those things matter. That you can be a completely normal person in whatever way normal is for you, and you can still reap the benefits of your yoga practice. You don't have to associate with any particular religion or idea of philosophy. So it doesn't matter what your background may be or what your beliefs may be. It doesn't matter what country you were born in, what race you are. It doesn't matter your sexuality. It doesn't matter your intellect, your level of education. None of that matters. We are all free to reap the benefits of the yoga practice. So I want you to understand that whatever you see yourself as a person, you can still be that. But you can, through your yoga practice, recognize that you're also so much more than that. And so as long as you're not causing harm to yourself or others, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, you're free to explore your yoga practice as works for you, holding on to the tools that bring you closer to yourself, and just leaving alone the tools that don't help. Ultimately, as I've mentioned perhaps before, yoga is not a religious practice, it's a spiritual practice. It's simply a scientific way of figuring out who and what we are on a fundamental level, to find the nature of our true self. And so, whoever you are, whatever you are, those practices are available and accessible to you. So that's a little bit about who I am on a mundane level. And our practice is about recognizing what we are on a fundamental level. So please join me as we explore these practices together. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments and I'll be happy to help you out. And otherwise, thank you for joining me. Just remember to hit the subscribe and notification buttons, and I look forward to sharing these practices of self-discovery with you in the future. Thank you very much.